Hey there, Cancer. Welcome to your reading for mid-March 2023. We're just going to jump right in here, and we're just going to do a whatever comes up reading. You have this happiness card, which is interesting. It says things are going well and feeling fulfilled in life. I kind of feel this is how you're feeling as we go throughout the month, the rest of March, from like the middle of March, going towards the end of March, and then into April and May. It seems to me like it could be just like a really happy time for you right now. And I'm not saying things are perfect. As I always say, happiness is a result of achievement. So if you're about to leave me a comment telling me how miserable you are, then first off, let me stop you right there and tell you to go start achieving something. And, I think that could turn your situation around. So there you go. But I would also say, I think for the rest of you, there's a lot of happiness coming in for you here. It also says go after your dreams. The universe is giving you a big yes. I kind of have a problem with this energy, is what I would say to you. It's like I do feel the universe is saying yes to all of us, but for most of us, it's like we could be waiting for something like resources, money, time, whatever. You even have the Three of Wands, which says like, what are you waiting for here, Cancer? So for some of you, it's like you could be waiting for time, money, or some sort of resource. The story of him is that he's looking out onto this water, but it's golden in color. So it kind of looks like the desert. And, if you know anything about the desert, there's nothing there, right? Nothing can grow in the desert. But when he looks closer, he sees the ships and he realizes that it's water and that there is a big opportunity. He has to just get on one of those ships and he has to, go out and do something. Most people read this as your ship's coming in, but if you actually look at the card, the ships are going out. And I'm not saying that it can't represent your ships are coming in, but for the most part, everything in this reading to me is saying that you need to, it's like time for you to kind of like explore your boundaries here, or it's time for you to take some bigger risks with the Five of Swords. And we're not talking about crazy risks here. We're talking about calculated risk. And for some of you, this could be to like this right here. It could be to get a lot of attention, like on your career, on your business. Could be to like do something like ask for a raise. It could even have to do with like a mentor as well with the King of Swords. Sometimes I feel like the mentor, it could be any gender, by the way, the King of Swords. It just could be a person you look up to. So some of you could be like wanting to ask your boss for a raise, for example, or you could be wanting to ask a person to help guide you in life or to offer you some assistance or whatever. And now would be the time, because this is definitely giving me a yes to that. You have the Hangman here, and I do feel like this is talking about enlightenment. You have several cards here. We go down to the Hermit, who has gained his inner light right here, which could be enlightenment. You also have the Sun, which could also be enlightenment. But so it's like something that is setting you free. But with that Hangman, it's like you have to get off the pole. It's like it's time to get moving towards something new. Let's see. With the Hangman, you have the Chariot. Yes, I mean, number one, you are the Chariot, but I'm pretty sure you've been getting the Chariot with me quite a bit recently, Cancer. So I really like this. To me, the Chariot is a victory, but it's also really a card of setting yourself apart. As I always say, he's normally leaving the city behind him behind, and he's going who knows where. He's trusting the universe, that the universe is going to guide him in a new direction. And he's doing this because, again, maybe the city is crowded. Like maybe there's too many people there. And so I feel for a lot of you, like in work, in business, in love even, you could be doing things that, or you could be working towards things that really set you apart, that make you stand out in some way. So, I think this is a major theme for you for probably the next, 10 years based off your astrology, Cancer, right? So, anything you can do to stand out, I think would be very beneficial. With the Five of Swords, you have the King of Wands here. King of Wands about being bold, being assertive. I do kind of feel like this could be a person that's coming in for you if you want love. I would say it could be a person who's older than you. And I do feel it's someone who's like a little bit, I feel like this person maybe is a little bit more mature. Maybe they're older than you. So that's definitely standing out to me. With the Three of Wands, you have the Emperor. There you go. Definitely could be an Emperor type person. The funny thing is I'm not getting Aries for you here, Cancer. It could be an Aries for some of you. It's a general reading. But I kind of just think that you're attracting someone who's more of an action taker. You could be attracting a person, if you want love. I feel like some of you, this person's going to bring you happiness, but I feel this person maybe makes you, it's like they could be a little bit risky, in your brain. But not as in, I don't think this is like a bad boy, bad girl type of situation. I think that maybe this person takes risks, like maybe they take risks in business or other areas of life. But what I feel like you will find out is this person is actually much more secure than anything you've had in the past, despite the risks that they take. Next, in your next row, you have this pufferfish. It says, know your limits and boundaries. I saw this card earlier, and I kind of feel like you need to explore your limits and boundaries. If we don't know our limits and boundaries, then we don't know what we're capable of, which is not a good place to be. So I feel for some of you, it's like if you're not sure like what to do in business, I think this is a problem with being afraid of making mistakes. It's like we need to make mistakes because if we don't, then we don't know what our boundaries are. We don't know what we're truly capable of, right? So I kind of feel like this is encouraging you to adventure a little bit. We're not talking about taking crazy risks here. The pufferfish is protected. It has spines all over it. So I feel like you are protected, and you have the world, and the world would represent kind of like an achievement, but also kind of represents maybe some sort of adventure, going on an adventure. You have the King of Swords and the Five of Cups. For some of you who want love, I feel like maybe you've been disappointed in love. And I kind of feel like the pufferfish is saying, hey, there's like a new person, this emperor type person who's coming in for you. They're a little bit different maybe, and maybe they feel a little bit risky, but I kind of feel it's like worth a shot, or it's at least worth kind of like seeing how things go, right? Maybe I'm not, if you've been hurt in the past or whatever, maybe you just give it a little bit of time. Like don't rush into anything, obviously, but I think it'd be worth it. For others, I feel that I feel like you don't realize how close you are to something that's going to like turn your life around. And I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but sometimes I think, after we've had too many failures in life, then we get to this point where we just start focusing on the failure. We don't focus on what we have right here, these two cups. I always say when he turns around, he gets this bridge and this castle as well. And this kind of represents abundance, success, good things coming in for you. So I feel like for some of you, this is encouraging you to open up to new ways of doing things, or it's encouraging you to open up to new opportunities that could bring in a lot of success. And again, I think maybe sometimes we have too many failures. We start to think like, okay, nothing is going to turn my life around. But I do feel there are opportunities to turn your life around. You have this King of Swords here. I actually feel like this is also you. I feel like you have a lot of knowledge and wisdom, and that could be your greatest resource, like the things that you have learned, And I kind of feel with the Hangman that just like a little bit of a perspective change could be very beneficial. It's like, I get tons of comments from people that are always like, I've been cheated on 10 times and, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, number one, if you haven't learned what you need to look out for by now, I mean, that's kind of like on you. I'm not calling anyone out, but like seriously, number one, if it's been 10 times. Number two, it's like, once you learn what to look out for, then bring that knowledge and wisdom forward, right? Find a different type of person. It's like, obviously, if you meet all your partners at, I don't know, like the strip club or something, probably not a good idea, right? And I guarantee you someone's going to leave a comment that was like, oh, I married my uncle that I met at a strip club. Good, great, good for you. But what I would say, for the most part, most people don't meet, the love of their life there, for the most part, right? So I kind of feel like this is saying, like, use your wisdom, use your knowledge. You've learned a bunch of things. Same thing in business as well. You have the world card, definitely some achievements coming in for you. But again, I feel like these achievements are more coming in through an adventure. An adventure could be anything. Could literally be traveling and moving for some of you. You have the Chariot right next to it, right? Maybe you've been waiting to move. I feel like now could be a good time. But it could also be that you change jobs or, something along those lines. With the world, you have the two wands. I get this. See, here's the thing. I do get like a little bit of this energy of playing it safe here, Cancer, in your reading. And again, I'm not calling you out here. I get it, not wanting to take major risks. But like I said, I feel like there are just like tiny little things that you could do that really aren't that big of a deal, that would really kind of like change your life. And again, I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but again, I feel the energy. I always like to tell people that tarot doesn't make anything happen to you or for you. It just points out energy that's available to you. And I kind of feel like this energy, it's just like a little bit better than normal. It's like maybe normally the energy's like over here. I feel like it's just a little bit more over here, which is kind of like pushing things more in your favor. So again, like ask for a raise or promotion at work, because like it seems like now is the time. Take the risk of doing that. Take the risk of asking your boss how you can get a raise or a promotion. Take the risk of going and finding another job and getting something that pays you more money, or take the risk of starting your side hustle, right? Whatever it is for you, I would do it. With the King of Swords, you have the Nine of Swords. Again, I really feel this is a big fear of yours, is repeating a mistake. I don't even think this is something that's happening. I think that this is a fear. This Nine of Swords energy. Like you're fearing, oh, if I get into a relationship with this person, is it just going to be like all the other ones? If I start this business, is it just going to be like all the other ones? Again, that Five of Cups, the best way I can describe it is it seems to me like a dominant energy in your reading, Cancer. That does not mean it's like the energy that you're going to be experiencing. It just means that it's really standing out to me as like the thing that could be, kind of controlling your life right now or pushing your life in a certain direction. With the Five of Cups, you have the Page of Swords. Page of Swords is a card of kind of like being a detective, so you're definitely going to have to look for solutions. Like I always say, it's like I know, I wish I could tell you, like, oh, these cards are going to magically change your life. But, I always get comments from people that are like, oh, my life has sucked since I started watching your readings and nothing is changing. I'm like, yeah, you have to like do something about it. And you have to look for something that's much, much different than your current situation. So, it's like I always tell people, be a detective. If your job sucks, go look for another one. And yes, Page of Swords says maybe you have to be a detective. Maybe you really have to put in the work, but it's going to be worth it to go find something else. I also feel that this could be saying trust the evidence. Like if you're dating a new person, for example, or if you're meeting a new person this month, it's like, do their words match up with their actions? And as long as they do, keep going. It's like sometimes I think we do get with a good person where their words match their actions, but we get scared still. So I feel like this is saying don't do that, because I kind of get that feeling here where there could be a really good person but coming in for you, but it's like saying, it's like their words and actions match up. Don't like tell stories in your head and tell yourself that they're not, because I really feel like they are. Next, you have this horse card. It says freedom in action. The whole entire reading's about action. You have this Dolphins card. It says playfulness and cooperation. Yeah, I feel like playfulness would, of course, be extremely beneficial for you right now. When we are playful, that's when we really get out of our head. Like when we're enjoying a hobby, when we're watching a movie, when we're, I think the playfulness can just be getting out of your head, doing something that gets you out of your head, taking a shower, right? I get all my best ideas in the shower because it's like I'm not thinking about anything in there. And so, I feel for a lot of you, like whatever that activity is for you, for some people, it's like doing the dishes, whatever. I don't care what it is. I would do more of that or more things that do that. I feel that's where you could get a lot of answers. There's certainly a certain level of like freedom coming in for you. You have the Queen of Pentacles, the Justice card, and the Hermit. I do get something here about justice, by the way, like literal justice, as in if you're involved in a legal matter, this could be like a settlement. Every once in a while, I really feel the Queen of Pentacles can represent kind of receiving an offer, like a settlement offer. You even have the Knight of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles here. So there could be some sort of settlement if you are involved in something legal. And it's saying to me that things are kind of going more your direction. I do feel that if you are involved in something legal, it might not be like perfect, It's like maybe you wanted $1 million and maybe they offer 900,000. And again, I feel this reading is kind of like saying, don't chance it, take the offer, basically. But again, I'm not a lawyer, so, listen to your lawyer. You have the Queen of Pentacles here. She's a card of resourcefulness. Again, she is focused on what she does have. She's not focused on what she doesn't have right here. The rabbit kind of represents anxiety and fear. It can also represent fertility and abundance, but really this card is meant to represent the fact that she's focusing on what she has. She's not focused on the fear, right? So I feel if you could change your focus, there's a little bit of fear here, then I feel you're going to be much more successful at this time. And you have the Hermit, and the Hermit, I kind of feel more of an energy of encouragement here, Cancer. It's almost as if the universe is like saying, no, you've been through the dark night of the soul. You've been through the bad stuff. Now get your reward. I always say, like, one of my favorite people of all time, Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, he says at the end of pain is success. And it's like, I think so many people, I've seen it so many times where people, it's like they, experience a bunch of pain and then they turn around and they go back to something that makes them miserable, like a job or whatever. And they don't keep going. They don't go get their reward, right? But we have to sometimes like look for the reward. Like if you're in pain in your job because it sucks, maybe that pain causes you to start a business and that's your reward. But you have to see the business all the way through to the end. Same thing with a relationship. It's like maybe you've been dating some bozo, right, who just, runs a lemonade stand, but it's like maybe there's someone who, is like the CEO of some company that wants to come in here. I don't know, looks much better to me. And I feel like this is saying, let Mr. Minute Maid go. I feel like it's time for you to find something that's much more fulfilling. with this Hermit energy. It's like you've earned it, so you might as well get it, right? Let's see. With this Queen of Pentacles, you have the Three of Cups. Definitely some sort of celebration coming in for you as well. I also feel there's a lot of, and of course there's a lot of benefits with community right now. I say it to pretty much everyone because, there's just a lot of benefits in the astrology of like working with your community or getting help from people in your life. With the Justice card, you have the Queen of Cups, your energy here, Cancer. So I feel like you could be balancing yourself out. As I've said to all water signs as well, to me, the Queen of Cups, she really, really values her heart, like how she is feeling about something. And so as long as you're like putting more energy, I feel, with that Justice card into things that make you happy, which we see right here, then I feel like you can become very, very successful. I always say I'm a big fan of positive thinking, but it's like I've met plenty of successful, miserable people. And what I think it is that as long as you're like 1% more happy than you are miserable, then your life is going to change. And so I feel like for a lot of you, this is about kind of like doing that. I also think that if you are miserable, that there are things you can do to, again, push more of the energy more towards the positive, or it's kind of like saying, how can you fix it, right? With the Hermit, you have the Six of Wands. Definitely some sort of success coming in for you, but it's like the celebration, it's like on the Six of Wands, the guy has been to war and now he's coming back and he's being celebrated. So he's been through something difficult and now he's receiving a celebration. Hermit, he's climbed to the top of the mountain. He's been through something difficult. Now he's standing at the top of the mountain. He has the star in his lantern, but again, I always say he needs to let that star in his lantern out. So I kind of feel like this is saying like the victory, your success is right around the corner, whatever you want to call it. Next, you have the Satyr card. This card says revelry and indulgence. I feel like this card is kind of saying that number one, I feel like there's happiness coming in for you here with this card. And I feel like it's encouraging you to celebrate. I feel like it's encouraging you to do things that bring in more happiness. This card is kind of like the devil, but not necessarily in a bad way. And you have the Knight of Pentacles, the Sun, and the Nine of Pentacles. Sometimes I think if we're overthinking with the Knight of Pentacles, we probably just need to focus on things that make us happy and we need to go do something else. I find that if I'm overthinking something, like a project or something like that, usually if I go for a walk and clear my mind, I come back and I'm ready to go. It's like I'm ready to get started. And I kind of feel like that's what the Sun is saying. It's saying like sometimes I think we think too much about something and that's all we do and we don't do anything else. So our brain is just like hyper focused on one thing. So I kind of get that energy here, especially with the Knight of Pentacles, because, he can represent overthinking. He can represent, kind of like not getting started. So I feel like some of you need to get out of your head. For others, I feel like you're just ready to, it just says like plant some seeds. He has these empty fields behind him and he just needs to get started. He just needs to plant a couple seeds to be successful. Now you have the Nine of Pentacles, so I feel like there's a lot of abundance coming in for you. But again, she represents focus. She also represents balance, Cancer. There's a lot going on here about balance. You have 6 pentacles over here, 3 pentacles over here. So she kind of does things in perfect balance. She balances her energies. She balances the things that she does in her life. And, it kind of represents the fact that she's willing to give 3 pentacles to any situation in her life, but she always keeps enough energy for herself. So I feel like the secret to true abundance for you this week, Cancer, is to make sure that you're kind of like doing things in balance, but also make sure you're kind of like filling your own cups, kind of. It's not like 100% accurate with the Nine of Pentacles, but I'm just saying, like, make sure you're filling yourself up. Make sure you're doing something, at least one big thing that's like fun this week. It definitely is showing up here. With the Knight of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Cups. It would not surprise me if there was an Earth sign coming in for you. I'm pretty sure you've been getting Earth. And yes, this would be a water sign, but you have a lot of earth here. And again, just intuitively, even though this is a water sign, it could be an earth sign with a lot of water in their chart. It could be vice versa as well. It could be a water sign with a bunch of earth in their chart. Take it how it resonates. But I do feel like there could be someone really, really fun coming in for you. Again, there's something that makes me feel a little bit standoffish here, is what I would say. It kind of gives me the vibes. It's like maybe you're normally, maybe you want the security of a person who has like a 9 to 5 or something like that. And again, maybe this person is an entrepreneur. There's something like that going on here where it feels like a little bit risky. But again, I actually feel like you will find out that there's no risk with this person at all. With the Sun, you have the Hangman here. Yeah, more enlightenment. Again, I feel like the Hangman in your reading is talking about kind of like the fact that you have the answers, you know what to do. It's just like time to get started with the Hangman. It's time to kind of like get moving. I also feel like doesn't even want to focus. I feel like your focus is very important. Like, again, you could be crying all day long about how miserable you are, but it's like, what are you going to do to change it? The Hangman says, change your perspective and change your life. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Queen of Pentacles again. Could be a Capricorn coming in for you, but I also feel that there is an increase in your finances for sure. I see here that there's like, it's almost like there's some sort of settlement. And again, if it's not a legal settlement, some of you, this could be the universe is like settling up with you and kind of correcting whatever has been incorrect. You have this Enthusiasm card. We're pulling 5 main themes now. So again, the whole entire reading has so much sun imagery. It's like crazy, the Hangman twice, the sun. So I feel like you need to move towards things that make you feel enthusiastic. A lot of people get this message right now. I really feel like it's a sign of the times. It's like if you're moving towards things that don't make you excited, it's going to be harder and harder to want to do those things. And I think that's why this message comes up so much. Next, you have this Resistance card. Yeah, it's like when we are very close to our goal, as the book, The War of Art says, when we are very close to our goal, that's when we experience the most resistance. So if you are experiencing resistance, as I said earlier, at the end of pain of success, it means that you're very close to your goal. Don't give up now, Cancer. It's like you're about to be very happy, clearly. You have this Domination card. I feel like some of you could be dominating the challenge. It's like you're dominating in life with this card, but I would also be careful of any people who are trying to dominate you. Next, you have this Criticism card. I feel like you're being too critical of yourself. So I feel like some of you need to be kinder to yourself, but also just realize that, nothing's perfect. I feel like you're going to be successful, so keep pushing here, Cancer. I feel like I just called you Virgo for some reason. Some of you could be dealing with a Virgo. You have this Exaltation card. I love it. It's like I said earlier in the reading, it's like the time is now. It's like the universe is like I really feel that. The universe is just like pushing the energy a little bit more towards the side of you being successful. This Exaltation card, I feel, is a card of like blessings and, kind of the time being right. So it looks to me like the timing is right for you right now to be successful, but you're going to have to make those decisions to make that happen. So it's like, again, if your job sucks, start looking for another one because the energy's more in that direction, right? Same thing with love. But this looks really interesting here, Cancer. So thank you for being here, Cancer. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your Sun, Moon, and Rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your month.